my God. I just posted the only photo I have of myself as a little baby. I mean, I think I have one somewhere where I'm like 8 months or something, but this is the only one that I have of me as like a little baby. And I'd heard all these stories about how, like, when I was first born, well, from my dad, about how when I was first born, because my mom, she was asleep during the C-section, but he's like, when you came out of her stomach, you were covered in light. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you were like my little angel. You were just like this smiling, you were smiling as soon as you came out of your mother's womb. And I was like, okay, what? Like, and my mom's like, she describes it totally different. She's like, it was traumatic. I felt everything. I felt the knife cutting me. The anesthesia did not work. She had an entire, like, traumatic event, from this experience. And it reminds me of, I did not understand it, right? And I probably had postpartum depression afterwards, because the way that she describes the birth, right, of her, them trying to, Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore here in 1974, the way she describes the whole process and feeling the knife, she was like, I felt the knife cut right through my stomach. And then she's like, and then she had to stay in the hospital because I was premature, and for a week until I gained enough weight. And she said when they brought me to her, she didn't recognize that it was her baby because I was light skin colored. And I'm thinking about this, Mom, and I've had some postpartum depression issues too, previously with my children. And something I just didn't understand, and I'm understanding now why she might not have been able to bond with my brother. They had a lot of, issues, and that's because it was known that he was an unwanted baby. And that's a horrible thing. And I felt unwanted too after a while. And I don't think she intended to make us feel that way, And I certainly felt horrible when I went through my postpartum psychosis with my daughter Izzy, because it does separate you from bonding for a bit. And so I was thinking about that with my mom. She had, I would call that medical trauma. And I've been researching medical trauma because I have that, I swear, I feel I do, where you have this event happen to you at a hospital where, like my mom, where it's traumatic. And I think that stopped her from going a lot to the doctors and to the hospitals, because I don't remember her taking me very much, to doctors and things, but, that's another story. But thinking about this and the relationships with my mom and the postpartum depression and all that stuff, and my relationship currently with my dad, I'm trying to figure out, like, do I stay in a relationship with someone where I don't feel I'm getting anything out of it? It's been years, since I've seen him, and he doesn't really know who I am. I mean, he knows the little baby with the, smile and the butterball, and he knows the me until age 7 and on and off when we're talking, and he can keep up to date a little bit about my life, but he doesn't really know the adult me. He doesn't know who I've become. He doesn't know, what I'm doing business-wise. He doesn't understand my book. He doesn't even know I'm doing this podcast. I mean, so do you maintain relationships with people even though he's my dad, just because he's my dad? It's like, I kind of don't think so. I don't want to at this point. I feel like I've grown into a wiser person, and I'm choosing my relationships, and I'm choosing to say, I'm done with this relationship. I'm not going to say I'm disowning you, but I'm kind of just done with it. I have to move on and kind of pick the people in my life. And, have you thought about that maybe? Something you're thinking about? Well, I'll think about it at some point. Like, should I get rid of that, obnoxious friend that never calls me or listens to my problems and, only talks about them? Some people feel that way in a relationship. They're like, I call that person, they only talk about them. It's because their life is probably so overwhelming and they don't have anyone else to talk to, okay? Anyway, those are my thoughts today at 5. I got to get my day going. I don't know what I'm doing again today. It's a freaking holiday weekend. I got nothing to do with, nobody to do it with, if I were going to do anything anyway. Oh, I hope y'all are doing something fun. All right. Until next time, guys. See you soon. So you know what? I was thinking about going back to rehab, but... And then I thought, I can do this. I'm drinking tea right now. Green tea. It's 5 in the morning. Of course you should be drinking tea, Minnie. All right, whatever. I'm just saying, in the past, all right, it's been vodka, all right? That was 2020, all right? 2020, 2021, 2022. Whatever. My son died in 2020, so I'm thinking it was like 2020, 2021, 2022. Those were the 2 years. All right. So I did kind of like, wreck my liver partially. It was already wrecked because before I started drinking that way, I had, they called it fatty liver, right? And I don't like fatty liver, okay. A lot of people, and I Googled it and they're like, oh yeah, a lot of people have that. My 19-year-old daughter actually had fatty liver. And then she was in the hospital for a liver problem. They could not figure out what was wrong with her. She didn't drink, right? And I'm like, we do have this genetic thing. My mom died at 51. And when I looked into her medical records and I got her autopsy, and I started doing all this research, and I was like, this was not alcoholic cirrhosis. And they didn't put that in there either. They said cirrhosis, and then she had a bunch of other issues in there too. So I'm like, we can't drink because we have these genetic issues. Like my daughter, who didn't drink, had these liver issues. And my mom, who died at 51, obviously, liver issues. And now me, stage 4, right? End stage. And not good stage, bad stage. So I'm like, should I go to rehab and completely eradicate once again wine and occasional martini from, me continuing to harm my, self? I don't know. Rehab is not fun. I mean, it's just not fun. It's like prison. So I don't know. At the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I think I have the strength to do it. So that's kind of where my thoughts are today. It's kind of like I'm on this path to being healthy and walking every day. But I think that if you do need help, that you just have to find the right rehab. Like if you do need help, my mom actually, she was getting fired from work because she was an alcoholic, and I actually did not know that she was a crack addict. I had no idea. Well, I should have figured it out. I was a dumb teenager. I was living in a crack house actually at 16 because we were homeless, and my mom's like, "Here, you're going to live with my friend Linda." And I'm coming downstairs and they have spoons and, they're doing things with the spoons over fire. So I should have figured that out, right? That my mom was a part of that culture. But I didn't. I just thought she had a drinking problem. I thought that was it. I didn't know there was crack involved. I should have put the pieces together. We never had any food or heat or in the house, and the nuns paid for my tuition last 2 years, but I didn't. But that woman pulled herself out without rehab. No, actually, she went to detox for the crack. But then she stopped drinking, right? She did not go to rehab, and she was trying to do outpatient, and it didn't work. So I think you just need to find the right program, and that's what I might need to do. I'm considering it. I really am, because I think it's something that if you do something like that, you're accountable. You're like, I do have a problem. I should be accountable. I should have some type of outpatient accountability or something, perhaps, if it's affecting your life dramatically. At this point, as my alcohol usage is not affecting my life whatsoever. It is like, I don't drink and drive. I'm not doing anything obnoxious when I drink wine at night, but it is affecting my health. So that's the consideration in my life, is that it's affecting my health. Anyway, so those are my thoughts at 5. I'm drinking my green, it's green matcha tea, and one of those Keurigs. I have a little Keurig. I love my Keurig. Love it. Sometimes I'll do a decaf organic coffee or something put in there, but I love a little tea Keurigs, and it's small, right? You can get a little mini one because it fits right on my counter, my RV. I love it. You gotta get one. Do you have one? Anyway, those are my thoughts at 5. I'm gonna go drink my tea. No wine today. No. Not on the wagon, guys. Or back to rehab. Until next time, guys. See you soon. So you know what? I was just watching the news, and 2 people, a woman and a man, climbed to the top of the Empire State Building, but not the top, right? Above the top, to the part you're not supposed to, climb up on with the news wires or whatever, radio antennas or something. It's all over the news, right? So I'm watching this, I'm like, what are they doing? And they have a banner, and it's the power of, something like the power of love is greater than the love of power. then we'll have peace. It's beautiful. They said it's like a Jimi Hendrix quote or something. But anyway, I'm watching this. I'm like, they gonna die. What is going on here? And they're like taking pictures. Obviously, it's like they are social media influencers, right? You can just tell. Then he gets on one knee and proposes. I'm like, that is the most. And the newscaster's like, what is he doing? Is he proposing? I'm like, hello. And so it was so cute, so beautiful. And so I was like, you know what? I was thinking about the proposals because I've had 3 husbands. And I'm like, if I never say never sometimes. Well, I never say never because it's me. Minnie got to be Minnie. So I never know what the hell I'm going to do. So I never say, hey, I'm not going to get married again, right? Husband number 4. Because I'm just like, they don't count. I'm just like, those marriages don't fucking count. I kid you not. Husband number 1 was like a shotgun marriage because I was pregnant. Long story there. And he was my best friend, right? And the proposal with him was cute, but I knew it was happening because I was like, well, I'm shotgun wedding, I'm pregnant, with, not his baby. But we were best friends, and I was like, I don't know what to do in this situation. I'm in college, I don't have family, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do. And he's like, hey, I'll marry you. I'm like, I don't want to get married. I did not want to get married. I did not. I protested. But at the same time, I had this baby, and I wanted the baby to have a family, so I married my best friend. So that proposal was just like, no. It was cute, but we, I already knew. We kind of looked at rings and everything. All right, so husband number 2, I bought my own ring. He came to town and tried to give me a ring that he had, gave some other fiance that he dumped, or she dumped him or something. Likely she dumped him. And I was like, I don't want this ring. What are you doing? This is somebody else's ring. It was like purple, and it was a disaster. So I bought my own damn ring for that one. And then husband number 3, I bought my own ring that time too. I was like, yeah, okay, so we're gonna get married. Well, I'll just go buy my own ring. I like this. And then we kind of had like a plan. Let's go to the park and do a whole thing. We'll take pictures and That wasn't a real freaking proposal either. All right, so I'm watching this and I'm like, look at this beautiful thing this man has done. Okay, it is stupid. Why are we climbing to this? And they're going to get arrested. They are arrested, actually. They're in custody right now. But, at least, she's got this ring on her finger. She's like, look what I got. We're getting married. She's in jail. Anyway, so I'm like, all right, so what would I be looking for, like in my next, relationship that possibly leads to a proposal? I don't even know where to go with that. I'm not even going to answer that. My brain isn't even there. I'm thinking that sounds nice, maybe in the future, if I live that long, with this whole liver cirrhosis thing going on. I don't know. We'll see. But I just thought that was just cute today. When you get a chance, look at the news, guys. Okay, you'll see it. It's just New York City. It's a big thing going on right now because they think Taylor Swift is getting married, and the 4th of July and everything. And these people go and commit a complete security breach, at the most famous building in the dang on city. All right, that's Minnie at noon. Until next time, guys. See you soon. Oh my goodness. Okay, I said I wasn't going to drink today. All right, it's like 1 glass, but I was literally, I was at Walmart, all right? I was looking at tomato plants, and I was like, I want a tomato plant. I do. I love fresh tomatoes. So my first experience with the whole fresh tomato was going to Arcata, California with my husband. Well, he wasn't my husband. We met. He was like, we're getting engaged. I'm going to marry you. I'm like, Jesus. All right, so Arcata, California, and his dad had this 40-acre beautiful ranch, right? And a lane. It was like Buttermilk Lane. Beautiful piece of property. And so, he was like, you have to try a fresh tomato. I was like, right, I'm from Baltimore. My mom really, I didn't even like tomatoes. I hate tomatoes. All right, but now I love them, and now I love the fresh ones, and I get it, I appreciate it, and now I want a tomato plant. But anyway, so I was at Walmart, and that's the thing. But meanwhile, I reconnected with my cousin, right? That we are talking, and she was telling me she went to a psychic, and my mom apparently and her sister, deceased, appeared, at this medium to give her peace and everything. I was like, that's great. how do you know that was, the right, spirit? Because sometimes they can be not, they can trick you, right? And so that's kind of like, I have that experience, like, was that like last month? Whatever. I was in the nut house like twice. All right, so like just recently. And so, I kind of have that when I have like my nervous breakdowns. God, Laura, it's like every 10 years or something. Then, or under extreme, it has to be like severe stress. I'll have like a nervous breakdown. I'll go like to the other side. But usually I was like, I was like, how do you know? Because they trick you, right? Because when I'm over on the other side, I get tested and I'm like, shit. And the last time I was over there, these, it's a thing. There are entities, it is a real thing. Spirits are like, hey, so your dad like molested you, as a kid. And I was like, no, that's not true. So it's kind of like, you kind of have to discern. And that's kind of how I can be in a state of pure psychosis, but at the same time, be sane. I know, it's weird. It's probably because I've had some experience being over there, and I've had a lot of training when I'm over there of how to get back here into reality. So it's like, I can be like purely in a state of psychosis, but still be like, I'm completely sane in a minute. Oh, I'm back in psychosis again. No, now I'm saying, oh wait, okay, I'm in the middle here. It's weird. So it was beautiful because she was like, she had peace. And apparently my deceased mom and my deceased aunt were there. And I don't know what the experience was. I can't say whether or not it's real for her or that person doing the mediumship, right? That's not my place. That's above my spiritual pay grade. But it's beautiful. It's a part of therapy. It's a part of grief. It's a part of mourning. If that works for you, gives you peace, and that is something that you truly believe, that is a beautiful, real experience, and I say that is great, right? And so I was thinking about my uncle, another one of my mom had a twin brother. They were the twins. And for the longest time, I was like, is it genetic? I'm like, when I'm going to have baby, am I going to have twins? I kept looking for these twins. I had like 8 pregnancies, but 6 live births. And so I was like, where are my twins? But I believe I have them with it, Noah and Izzy. They were like 14 months apart. And I was like, those are my twins, I swear. But so they were the twins. My mom and her brother, unfortunately, both tragically died of autoimmune issues. He was in his 40s, and my mom's baby sister, she was in her 40s too. And then my mom's other sister was like 59. I'm like, what the heck, hello? And my mom was 51. So, we can't make it past the age of 59, apparently. I don't know what's going on with this family. But the thing of it is that it was just beautiful. That, if that's something you want to do, like seek alternative answers for your passed over loved ones, I don't know. Is that it's not really in line with the gospel. The gospel says do not do that. Like, do not seek that. It's like in the New Testament or something. You're not supposed to do that because there's a danger to that. Like I said, there are the evil entities over there. They will trick you. They will deceive you. So if you go to a palmist or a medium, just know that. And it's in the Bible not to do that for a really specific reason. I believe in that. I believe in the gospel. I believe that there was a reason behind that stuff. So that's my thoughts today. Minny at 3. And until next time, guys, I hope you're having a good, almost 3-day holiday weekend or something. Grill some hot dogs and burgers or something, or whatever you do, and watch fireworks. I'm gonna actually pretty much be creating this weekend, so I'll be creating. I might go shopping again. I might get a tomato plant. I'll take you with me. All right, guys, until next time, see you soon. Oh my god. I just threw my back out watching the news. I kid you not, I'm old. Okay, look, I can't do the YMCA at this age. I'm sorry. Okay, so look, listen to this. Oh my gosh. Okay, look, I'm watching the news, right? And I see, unfortunately, you know, that the guy who sang or wrote the YMCA, YMCA, whatever, YMCA, you know the song, right? It's famous. Okay, so apparently he passed away, right? And Trump was on there because he was like, Trump likes the song. They were like doing this whole review of the song, and I was like, Trump liked the song, and Trump's on there dancing to it. So I was like, wait, I remember that song. I remember, and there was a thing where when they were dancing, they did the Y, right, with their arms. And the M and the C and the A, right? So I was like, Minnie, and I was dancing, I was like, Y, M, C, right? And I was like, wait, I think you do it this way. Because I had my arms up, did the Y thing, and the M, I was like, oh, no, Minnie, no, that is not going to work. I like threw my back out. It was already thrown out. But it reminds me of humility and what I've learned over this time with my health crisis, right? I have learned such compassion for people who are disabled, like physically disabled, like they can't walk, they're in a wheelchair, they have mobility issues. Like when I first met Lon, my ex-husband, husband number 2, he's 17 years older than me, right? He's already like my dad, like the same age as I think my dad's older than him. Yeah, same age as my mom. I think she's a year. What the heck ever. Whatever. Okay, 17 years. My mom's 18 years older than me, and my dad's 20 years older than me. And Lon was 17 years older than me. So figure that one out. Yeah, that marriage wasn't gonna work. It didn't. Yeah. So he had mobility issues. Right? So when I had my coma, but before I went into my coma, actually, I had peripheral neuropathy, which is it's a horrible thing where and you know what, that's a thing in my family. They have diabetes. Actually, my grandfather lost his entire leg, and my dad's brother lost his arm. Diabetes, yeah, that's a thing. Oh, that's another day. So meanwhile, I could not walk for like 2 freaking years, right? Fell on my face, had tons of falls, and it was all this peripheral neuropathy thing. So I completely appreciate the ability to freaking walk at this point, because I couldn't feel my toes for 2 years. They wouldn't move. Like they do the thing, you know, when you go to the doctor and they do the thing where they hit your knee. Okay, my knee would not go up. Like my leg would not go up. It was just stay there. They would hit the little thing. There's no movement. Hello. So there was no movement from at all. And I couldn't feel my toes. Everything was numb. So I had to get leg casts. I had foot drop in both feet. Oh my gosh. So, and I was falling down, and everybody thought it's because I was drunk. And I did not tell anybody that it was like neurological, me and words, neurological, me and words again today. So yeah, guys, partially it could be because I was drunk too, but also friends from the Orioles Nest 331 who saw me fall flat on my face one time. It was a big fall. I was at that time when I fell down during karaoke and I could not get up and everything. That's when I was having the worst issues with my peripheral neuropathy, and I could not feel my toes. And I was like, damn it, I'm still going to wear these high heels. Fuck this peripheral neuropathy. That idea, Minnie. And then they're like, no, you need like a walker. And I was like, fuck this walker. Fall on my face again. So now that I can walk, I appreciate that crap, right? But yeah, I can't do the YMCA. No, Minnie, no, that's not going to work. Yeah, so now my back's out. I'm my little cubby. I'm gonna rest. Yeah. But the YMCA song, I love that. I'm sorry he passed away at 74 from some progressive illness. That's sad, and that his memory will live on. You know, I was saying that as I was throwing my back. I was like, your memory will live on. YMCA. I'm like, oh no, Minnie, no. Anyway, so that's my day. Anyway, so hope you guys are having a great day. If you sing YMCA, try to, tread lightly with the arches with the Y and the M and getting in there. And I mean, maybe you can do that, but I can't. I can't yet. But I'm working my way up there. But anyway, this is Minnie at 5. Until next time, guys. See you soon. Oh my God. So picture this, right? I have like early dementia. It's like cognitive deficiency, they call it, or something. I don't know. I had like a neurological test, and it was before my coma, actually. And they said cognitive deficiency, mild cognitive deficiency or something. And then after the coma, now I call it coma brain, right? So I have coma brain, right? So I've locked my keys in the car with Chloe, by the way, my cat, in the car, in the rain. And I had to call like roadside assistance once, right? Then one time I lost my key in the car with the car open, but couldn't find the car key. And because it was like I was moving, and I had to call like the police. I was like, this is an emergency. I'm going to have a meltdown. I swear to God, it's an emergency. Sorry, God. Okay, so because I keep losing the keys to my car, right? I was like, dang it, Minnie, I got a solution for you. The lanyard does not work. Okay, it's too many keys. It's no. So to make it simple. So I was like, all right, I got a process here, and you can't lose the keys to the RV, Minnie, at all costs, right? I'm like, Noah has a copy, but you can't lose your copy, right? I'm like, okay, I got it. so I have like a system where I'm like, all right, I got the keys here. We're gonna leave the RV. I'm like, it's right here. Keys to the car, check. Keys to the RV, check. Right. All right. So today, right, I was like, all right, Minnie, you're going to go out, okay? Like every day I'm like, don't lock yourself out of shits, right? Because it's fucking horrible. I've had this happen to me the last 2 months, like over and over. Yeah, I get locked out of shit. I'm like, no. And Noah's like, I don't have time, Mom. I have your extra key, but I'm busy. I'm like, I'm fucked. All right, so today, here's what happened. Guess what happened? You are not going to believe this shit. Okay, so I go on a walk. Chloe's like, wants to go out. I'm like, okay, Chloe. Oh, she escapes for a little bit out to like 2 inches. She'll only go out like 2 inches. I'm like, get back in there. And so I was like, yeah, let me go look at my storage. I have a huge like storage underneath. So I go in there. I'm like, what is all this crap? I don't need that in there. And I get all distracted. And I'm like, somehow, I'm not thinking that the thing to the storage of the RV is going to just automatically lock when it closes. But it did with my keys in it, right? And my reading glasses now, I discovered. I don't have them either. Listen to this, though. All right, so meanwhile, I call Progressive. Like, I'm like, I have insurance right now. Like, and they send like a third party person. And they're like, no, we can't help you. It's an RV. I'm like, I have RV insurance roadside. What are you talking about? No, we can't help you. I'm like, oh my God. So they're like, call another one. Call it your insurance again. I call the Progressive again. They send the same people. I'm like, what the frick? I'm going to freaking snap. And Noah's like, yeah, Mom, I'm busy. I can't like get your key to you. I'm like 3 hours away. I'm like, mother effer. OMG. And Chloe's like, hi, at the window. I'm like, I'm going to climb through the freaking window. I'm so mad. I'm like, do I call Progressive? It's been like an hour again when they've already had like 2 people that are like, we can't help you get into your RV. What the hell? I've gotten locked out of my car, and it's easier to freaking do that through State Farm, right? It's like, what the frick? I'm like canceling Progressive. But then listen to this, right? The windows to the RV are really freaking small. I don't know if you guys know. Google that. Look at that crap. I was like, you know what? I keep an open window for Chloe. You know, so she can like smell the air and, you know, look at Mr. Squirrel and stuff. I keep a bunch of open windows for her, right? And so I was like, you know what? I can climb through that. And I was like, wait, that's kind of tiny. It's really small. It's like, I don't know. It's like rectangular. It's kind of tiny. So meanwhile, my property manager was driving by, and I was like, look, I'm going to break into my RV. She's like, no, girl, you're not going to fit in there. I'm like, look, girl, hoist me up there. She's like, no. I'm like, girl, let's try. Look. And I was like, look, I can open the window right here. And Chloe was like that. I was like, look, Chloe, hi. And I was like, yeah, I know, that's real small. I was like, let's just what's the worst that could happen? She's like, well, I don't want to hurt you. And I'm like, you're not going to hurt me. Just come on, just hoist me right in there, girl. Come on, do it. And so she like, I put my head through the window. I climb up on that picnic table and get up there. And she hoists me in there. And I get in the window. And I'm like, oh, I made it. I was so happy. I hugged her all over the place. And I was like, see, I made it. And then I looked and I was like, that was God. I swear, I attribute everything to God. That's just me. You know, that's just the positive person that I am. And I find God in everything. So, of course, I'm going to be like, that was God that had her just drive by at that one moment when I was about to, like, throw my hands in the air because it was my second call and my, like, third hour with Progressive. No, second hour. I don't know, but I'm in now, guys, and that's just kind of my random unscripted thing just to tell you, only these things happen in Minnie's world. I know you guys think I make this shit up. I wish I made this shit up, but I don't make this shit up. It's actually like a day in the life of Minnie's world. I swear, I kid you not. Talk to my children. There are 5 of them right now. They will say, yep, that's a normal Minnie day. Yeah. Minnie got hoisted into a window of the RV to break into her RV. Yep. I swear. Oh, gosh. It's just always something funny. And I just laugh at it. I mean, I could just be all depressed and mad, but I was like, this is funny. Like, literally, when I locked my keys in the storage bin and I realized that it automatically locked and my keys were, like, in there, I just giggled the freaking frat. I just laughed. I wasn't, like, mad and, like, cursed. I was like, so many... I laughed the whole time. I laughed when I talked to like that customer service guy who was just like, so what are we doing now? I'm like, I'm locked out of my RV. It's my house. And I'm like, I swear, kid you not, 2 hours. All right. But I laughed the whole time. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. So now I'm back in. I'm in my little cubby making my little podcast to you guys. And I hope y'all don't get locked out of anything. But guess what? If you have an RV, make sure that even if you have roadside assistance, it doesn't mean crap, because I have roadside lockout assistance and I verified it too. I was like, I have it, roadside lockout. And they're like, yeah, you do. And then they send it to a third-party contractor, and the third-party contractor's like, no, that's beyond my capabilities. And then you call your insurance company and send it to the same person, and you get the runaround. Just so you know, that's my tip for you today. And until next time, guys. See you soon. So you know what? I'm in a custody dispute right now with my ex-husband. And I'm trying hard not to kill people. I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm kind of, well, maybe not. I don't know. So listen to this. Okay, so when my son, he was 17 and a half. I have to say 17 and a half because when I went to the police and I called the attorney general and I drove all the way from California in an RV with my husband and 2 children who got sick with food poisoning in Las Vegas, Nevada, they were like, well, he's 17 and a half. You can't get him back. I'm like, it's a kidnapping. God damn it. It's a kidnapping. So I went freaking nuts. Right? That whole thing. I mean, if you want to be interested in it, you can go to my YouTube channel. It's a depositions with me and David Williams. That was me. I was so mad. I took that shit to court, sued the county, sued the hospital, sued everybody, and got myself on Dr. Phil 3 times. That's how mad of a mother I was, and he was 17, okay? And so when they took my kids away because of the Dr. Phil show and all that shit that happened on the Dr. Phil show, right? My babies were 2, 6, and 7, right? Legit. So, of course, I'm going to go nuclear. I was breastfeeding Dylan for 2 freaking years, right? I had just weaned him off. I was like, good job, Dylan. Yeah, you're 2.5 now. Yeah, good job, right? And then, Izzy and I were, getting closer because I had the whole postpartum depression, the postpartum psychosis, and our relationship was just not good. So we're just starting there. We're right there, right? Noah, well, that's the story. That kid, all right, I was close with him too, but I had to kick him out from nursing because I got pregnant with Izzy. So I was like, Noah. No, so they came into my lives, the state of Oregon, at this critical time, right? When our family was just healing from my son shooting himself and from me not being able to get him back because they're like, well, he's 17 and a half, And I'm like, I want him back. He has a bullet in him. The bullet, he shot himself in the chest, point blank range, and the bullet is still in there. Hello? Police did not care. No one cared. And I just look like a crazy nutcase, right? Because I'm like, why am I crazy? Am I crazy, Lon? He's like, no, we want the bullet out because it was a special bullet because Lon was like this gun nut, right? And so the gun that my son shot himself with was some kind of special 380 or something. And Lon was like, no, I got those bullets. They're special. They're meant to, it's a handgun. But the bullets that were in the gun that my son shot himself in the chest with, right? 2 inches from his heart, by the way. it was a fragmented bullet. So that means, like, when my son shot himself in the chest, I was there. It was a horrible, horrible situation. The bullet fragments into pieces, right? And they can get lodged places, right? So I'm like this mother. They're like, why? He's 17 and a half. He doesn't want to come back. He's in Las Vegas. I'm like, but he got kidnapped from the hospital. I want him to have surgery and get that stuff out of him. And so that's kind of how the Dr. Phil show happened. And they're like, you're crazy. You're suing everybody. I'm like, he's my son. So I'm like, I will do anything to save him right now. I don't care what anybody else says. So right now I'm trying to like tamper that down, because when the state came in and was like, you know what, your family's a mess. You're a mess. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm getting my kids. They're like, no, I'm going to keep them like 2 years because we can. And that's legitimately what happened. They're like, kept them for 2 years because they could. And then kept my Dylan for an extra, that was 3 years, because they said, well, this child's now obviously out of control. I'm like, you took him at 2.5 and you wrecked him. And now I can't get him back because he's wrecked by, whose fault is it, right? And they're like, oh, Noah's wrecked too. We don't want him, so you can have him. I'm like, what the heck? Okay, you give me this 10-year-old back who you wrecked for the past 2 years, worse than he was wrecked. Yeah, that was my life. So now I'm going through this custody battle again with the state and my ex-husband. Because, okay, I went crazy last month and a month before because of all this medical stuff that's been happening. I'm going to admit this right now. I had a mental nervous breakdown. So, okay, state of Oregon, yay, I get you. But at this point, it's like, I'm trying hard just not to kill people. Like, legitimately. I wake up every day and go, let it go, Minny, let it go. And should be okay for now. Get it together. Don't have another nervous breakdown. Everything should be fine. But anyway, those are my thoughts today. I'm just like, have you guys ever gone through a custody battle? You know how emotional that is, right? That's crazy making in itself. When you have a child and then you have someone else like going, nope, I'm going to keep him. No, I'm going to take him. And you're like, what the hell? What did I do? What the frack here? And now I got to fight the state too. And you also, and So if y'all ever been through that, you'll know that's crazy making in itself. And it's 11. At least he's not 2, 6, and 7. When I lost all 3 of them at that age for years, that was enough to destroy any mother. I mean, come on, hello. But I fought. I even had to go to the appeal court. I appealed something. What were they doing? Oh, yeah. I took them to the appeals court. I was like, I'll appeal this shit. I'll do it myself. I had an attorney, but I was like, look, I'm doing the work here. I'm going to appeal this crap from the state of Oregon. I hate them. So I'm hoping it doesn't go there yet. But if it does, guys, I'll take you with me. You'll probably hear it at some Minny thing. Minny at 3, Minny at 5. But today's Minny at noon. And those are my thoughts. Oh, guess what, guys? I got a plant. I'm hoping I don't kill it. It was purple. So it caught my eye, right? I was looking at ferns. I was like, no, ferns are kind of like too green. But you can't kill that many, right? I remember reading that somewhere. Or maybe they're hard to kill, I think. So I was like, maybe I want a fern. But I'm like, oh, they're not really pretty. They're just green. So then I saw this purple thingy. I gotta figure out what's it called. I don't know. And I have to put it in a bigger pot. Somebody said, put it in a bigger pot. Oh, yeah, it's going to be fun, Minny. So I gotta do that. I gotta keep my keys with me so I don't get locked out again. But thank gosh, I know I googled the window measurements because I got locked out of my RV and it was like 15 by 22 inches wide or something. I was like, I'm lucky I fit in there because they were like small childers can fit in there. I'm tiny. Thank goodness. If I get locked out, I know I'm tiny enough to, get in the dang on window if it's open. Anyway, this is Minny at noon. Until next time, guys. See you soon. Oh my God. So picture this, right? I have like early dementia. It's like cognitive deficiency, they call it, or something. I don't know. I had like a neurological test and it was before my coma actually. And they said cognitive deficiency, mild cognitive deficiency or something. And then after the coma, now I call it coma brain, right? So I have coma brain, right? So I've locked my keys in the car with Chloe, by the way, my cat, in the car, in the rain. And I had to call like roadside assistance once, right? Then one time I lost my key in the car with the car open, but couldn't find the car key. And because it was like I was moving and I had to call like the police. I was like, this is an emergency. I'm going to have a meltdown. I swear to God, it's an emergency. Sorry, God. Okay, so because I keep losing the keys to my car, right? I was like, dang it, Minny, I got a solution for you. The lanyard does not work. Okay, it's too many keys. It's no. So I make it simple. So I was like, all right, I got a process here, and you can't lose the keys to the RV, Minnie, at all costs, right? I'm like, Noah has a copy, but you can't lose your copy, right? I'm like, okay, I got it. so I have like a system where I'm like, all right, I got the keys here. We're gonna leave the RV. I'm like, it's right here. Keys to the car, check. Keys to the RV, check. Right. All right. So today, right, I was like, all right, Minnie, you're going to go out, okay? Like every day I'm like, don't lock yourself out of shits, right? Because it's fucking horrible. I've had this happen to me the last 2 months, like over and over. Yeah, I get locked out of shit. I'm like, no. And Noah's like, I don't have time, Mom. I have your extra key, but I'm busy. I'm like, I'm fucked. All right, so today, here's what happened. Guess what happened? You are not going to believe this shit. Okay, so I go on a walk. Chloe's like, wants to go out. I'm like, okay, Chloe. Oh, she escapes for a little bit out to like 2 inches. She'll only go out like 2 inches. I'm like, get back in there. And so I was like, yeah, let me go look at my storage. I have a huge like storage underneath. So I go in there. I'm like, what is all this crap? I don't need that in there. And I get all distracted. And I'm like, somehow, I'm not thinking that the thing to the storage of the RV is going to just automatically lock when it closes. But it did with my keys in it, right? And my reading glasses now, I discovered. I don't have them either. Listen to this, though. All right, so meanwhile, I call Progressive. I'm like, I have insurance right now. And they send like a third party person. And they're like, no, we can't help you. It's an RV. I'm like, I have RV insurance real side. What are you talking about? No, we can't help you. I'm like, oh my God. So they're like, call another one. Call it your insurance again. I call the Progressive again. They send the same people. I'm like, what the frick? I'm going to freaking snap. And Noah's like, yeah, Mom, I'm busy. I can't like get your key to you. I'm like 3 hours away. I'm like, mother effer. OMG. And Chloe's like, hi, at the window. I'm like, I'm going to climb through the freaking window. I'm so mad. I'm like, do I call Progressive? It's been like an hour again when they've already had like 2 people that are like, we can't help you get into your RV. What the hell? I've gotten locked out of my car, and it's easier to freaking do that through State Farm, right? It's like, what the frick? I'm like canceling Progressive. But then listen to this, right? The windows to the RV are really freaking small. I don't know if you guys know. Google that. Look at that crap. I was like, you know what? I keep an open window for Chloe. So she can like smell the air and, look at Mr. Squirrel and stuff. I keep a bunch of open windows for her, right? And so I was like, you know what? I can climb through that. And I was like, wait, that's kind of tiny. It's really small. It's like, I don't know. It's like rectangular. It's kind of tiny. So meanwhile, my property manager was driving by and I was like, look, I'm going to break into my RV. She's like, no, girl, you're not going to fit in there. I'm like, look, girl, hoist me up there. She's like, no. I'm like, girl, let's try. Look. And I was like, look, I can open the window right here. And Chloe was like that. I was like, look, Chloe, hi. And I was like, yeah, I know, that's real small. I was like, let's just what's the worst that could happen? She's like, well, I don't want to hurt you. And I'm like, you're not going to hurt me. Just come on, just hoist me right in there, girl. Come on, do it. And so she like, I put my head through the window. I climb up on that picnic table and get up there. And she hoists me in there. And I get in the window. And I'm like, oh, I made it. I was so happy. I hugged her all over the place. And I was like, see, I made it. And then I looked and I was like, that was God. I swear, I attribute everything to God. That's just me. That's just the positive person that I am. And I find God in everything. So of course I'm going to be like, that was God that had her just drive by at that one moment when I was about to like throw my hands in the air because it was my second call and my like third hour with Progressive. No, second hour. I don't know, but I'm in now, guys, and that's just kind of my random unscripted thing just to tell you, only these things happen in Minnie's world. I know you guys think I make this shit up. I wish I made this shit up, but I don't make this shit up. It's actually like a day in the life of Minnie's world. I swear, I kid you not. Talk to my children. There are 5 of them right now. They will say, yep, that's a normal Minnie day. Yeah. Minnie got hoisted into a window of the RV to break into her RV. Yep. I swear. Oh, gosh. It's just always something funny. And I just laugh at it. I mean, I could just be all depressed and mad, but I was like, this is funny. Like, literally, when I locked my keys in the storage bin and I realized that it automatically locked and my keys were, like, in there, I just giggled the freaking frat. I just laughed. I wasn't, like, mad and, like, cursed. I was like, so many. I laughed the whole time. I laughed when I talked to like the customer service guy who was just like, so what are we doing now? I'm like, I'm locked out of my RV. It's my house. And I'm like, I swear, kid, you not 2 hours. All right. But I laughed the whole time. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. So now I'm back in. I'm in my little cubby making my little podcast to you guys. And I hope y'all don't get locked out of anything. But guess what? If you have an RV, make sure that even if you have roadside assistance, it doesn't mean crap, because I have roadside lockout assistance and I verified it too. I was like, I have a roadside lockout. And they're like, yeah, you do. And then they send it to a third party contractor, and the third party contractor's like, no, that's beyond my capabilities. And then you call your insurance company and send it to the same person, and you get the runaround. Just so you know, that's my tip for you today. And until next time, guys. See you soon. So you know what? I was like at the grocery store today, and I wanted to buy like those little miniature strawberry shortcake things. I guess it reminds me of Aunt Darlene. Oh my gosh. You know what? Aunt Darlene has been on my mind. If you didn't listen to one of the earlier podcasts about Aunt Darlene, she's the one that scared the bejesus out of me. And I was like, it's the bejesus. She scared Jesus out of me. Like, she was a Jehovah's Witness, and she was just like, you're going to burn in hell for like everything you do. That was that podcast. That was kind of funny. But so meanwhile, I'm at the grocery store, right? And why is everything $5 freaking dollars? I kid you not, and you already know, so I don't have to kid you not, right? So I'm like, hello, I really want this like a little, strawberry shortcake morsel thingy, because it reminds me of, but it's $5. Do you want that many? You really spend $5 on like that 2 bites, right? And so I was like, crap, this reminds me of this memory I had with Aunt Darlene. Although she was like a really, really, not nice parent, okay? I mean, like, bad. Like, she would, like, beat our kids with, like, extension cords from irons or whatever it was. It was bad. Like, I was there. I, like, witnessed this whole thing going on. I was like, I do not want to go over to Aunt Darlene's. She is not a nice lady, so eventually she's going to get me. But when there was extension cord, she's going to whip the crap out of my butt. I'm already getting beat the crap out at home, right? I don't need this at Aunt Darlene's. All right, so, but one day I came over for a slumber party. Oh, I think that was the time I passed out. Yeah, I was so dehydrated. We went to King's Dominion, and I thought it would be a great idea not to drink any water, so I didn't wet the bed, because I was still a bedwetter till I was like 15. Long story, but yeah, sexual abuse will do that to a kid. Yeah, bedwetting till I was 15. So I was like, I gotta go to this slumber party, and I won't drink any water, and I passed out, and like, I don't know what happened. I crumbled, passed out. They were like, water. I was like, near death. Again, I always keep dying. Meanwhile, Aunt Darlene made this yum strawberry shortcake. It was so good, because my mom wasn't a baker. I mean, she would try to make biscuits like every New Year's Eve. It was like, black eyed peas for good luck. And she's like, let's make these biscuits, and they were horrible. Okay. But I liked them, but they were crunchy, and we put jelly on them. But they kind of taste like, I don't know. Mom just was not that great of a baker. But I kind of liked her biscuits back then. Now, I know how to make a great homemade biscuit from scratch, by the way. But anyway, yeah. So Aunt Darlene, I was like, I love it. I wrote the recipe down in my diary. I guess Sky must have that dang on thing. It's in storage somewhere in Maryland. But I wrote the recipe down. I have it. And I was like, for years, I was like, I could not perfect it. I was like, I love strawberry shortcake. So today, I was like, it's $5. It's a memory. Okay, I don't care. I never buy strawberry shortcake. I never ever do. Because when my kids were little, even when we were in an RV, right, I would make the jam from the strawberries, right? Take the strawberries and I would put them in my bread maker. I didn't use my bread maker to bake the bread, but I used my bread maker to knead the dough, because I have lupus in my fingers. I stopped being able to stir cookie dough. That's how I knew, like in my 20s. I was like, wait a minute, I can't stir cookie dough? And I was like, this is crap. My fingers hurt so bad. So that's when I looked into getting like a mixer and a bread maker to stir. Because I said this, I can't stir. It hurts my hands too bad. So my kids would have strawberries, the fresh ones, and I put them in there and I'd make fresh jam with the pectin and the strawberries. Oh, it was so good. And then I would put it over cake and they would love it. Oh, my image, yeah, pictures and whipped cream and everything. So today I was like, screw it. It's $5. It's called self-love today. Self-care, Minny. Get it, right? And I was like, well, what if it tastes like crap? I don't know. I just like spent $5 on this thing and $5 on that thing and it all adds up, right? I was like, no, do it, girl. You know, it's a weekend, it's a holiday, and you're doing nothing special, so get that. So I came home and tried it. It was so freaking yummy, and it was worth $5. I only had like 2 bites of it so far, but look, that's all I eat. Anyway, so I was like, Aunt Darlene, this is a good memory I have with her. Like, all the other memories are horrible. You know, even one day I got attacked by like in a field full of like 20 ticks. I was like, crap, do I have Lyme disease thinking about that now? Possibly. Probably. Anyway, so that's my thoughts today, guys. Minny at 3. Yes, the candy bar is like $5. Bag of chips $5. But you know, what are you doing today for self-love? Just something. It's just a little thing, $5 selfish thing that you can do. Say, I shouldn't do it. This is a waste of $5, but I'm gonna do it. All right, do that. All right, do something like that. I don't know. The other, like last week, mine was bubble yum. I kid you not. I was like, you know what? I love blowing bubble gum, and I'm just gonna buy a pack of Hubba Bubba. Another time it was like, what was it, Bazooka Joe? Because Bazooka Joe, old school, you don't remember this if you're not my generation or before me, where they have the jokes on the little bubblegum things. It's Bazooka Joe, and I saw it, and I was like, it's Bazooka Joe. I have to buy it. I don't care how much it is. I'm buying a big old bag of Bazooka Joe bubblegum. Anyway, do something like that, like this weekend. I don't know, something more than a hot dog and a hamburger. That's my thoughts today, Minny at 3. Until next time, guys. See you soon. Oh my God. I was just watching the news again, and there is a scandal going on, an LDS scandal. His name is Mark Lamb, Lamb, and apparently it's a sexting. He's a politician and a sheriff or something somewhere. But it is relevant to my LDS scandal, right, that my book's going to be about coming out. But apparently this, sheriff, politician, whatever, was sexting pictures of himself, nude pictures of himself, allegedly, and his wife, allegedly. He says it was years ago, blah, blah, blah. It's slander. Yeah. Could be. I don't freaking know. I'm just saying, I read it on the news, right? And it reminded me of my, ex-boyfriend, Mormon guy, who really, I wouldn't even call him a boyfriend. I mean, a boyfriend is like a boyfriend. This was kind of like, let's get together, watch scary movies. You talk about Irish people and make fun of them, and gay people make fun of them. I tell you, stop doing that. And you talk about women and how on the movies they have flat tits and flat asses and no tits. And I tell you, stop doing that. So I'm like relating to this woman. So apparently in the news, right, allegedly, she's like, she reported this man to the LDS higher uppers, like I did, attempted to. What I did, I don't know where it went. And she was like, well, I thought he was a good guy because he's a head of the church, or like me too, right? I'm like, right? Are you like a good guy, like you're supposed to be? Hello? Yeah, no, you're not. So it's like people using their position in a church and purporting to be of a certain moral character. And then, then you see them and you're just like, what the heck? And then you attach, unfortunately, and I am, sad, this woman and other women who are having this experience, or allegedly with Mark Lamb or whatever, with that whole scandal, they begin to lose faith. Because like she's saying, she's like, I reported this. Like, why do you have someone in charge? Why is no one caring about what I'm saying? It's like, I guess the scandals that erupted with the Catholic, priests, and the whole thing with the children being molested allegations and all of that stuff. And so people were like, Catholic, priests, and so it's like kind of like that. It's like, you're running a church with people that are predators and speaking against your doctrine that you are attempting to share. And this is a person in leadership. What are you doing? And here I am, a new member, right? I complain. I say, this is what happened. He was supposed to be a missionary ward leader. He was supposed to be teaching me the words of wisdom, not engaging in anti-words of wisdom with me, which he did. Okay, so, and then you report it, and then the church is like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. Hello. Is there any accountability? I don't agree with that. So here I am right now with the sister missionaries contacting me with, I don't know, right? I'm at a crossroads with LDS right now. And have you watched or seen the news of the secret lives of Mormon wives? Apparently they're TikTok moms and they're famous as heckalo. I did not know about them, but apparently they have like 5 seasons. It's the secret lives of Mormon wives. And they have like a lot of scandalous crap going on. And they're just normal people like everyone else. But the thing is that when you have like a person who comes to your church and it's new, it's like, ugh. And the thing that is really horrible about my situation with him, he called me Chocolate Queen. That's almost like racist to me. I did not invite that nickname. I'm like, why are you calling me that? It's like, my Chocolate Queen. It's like, it was like out of the blue, and it was like the second week that I knew him, right? Oh, my Chocolate Queen. I'm like, what? Hello? And he's white, right? I'm black, but, and the thing that tipped me off, and I was like, this guy is weird, is he'd make racist jokes. He'd be like, oh, yeah, sir, mister. Oh, it was like, what are you doing? Why are you making racist jokes? But at the same time, he'd be like, I love black people. All the people that I grew up with were black. It's kind of like, there's some things that tip you off about people when you meet them and the things that they say. And my radar was off. Yes, it was. It was going off. It wasn't off. It was going off. But I was like, what's the worst that can happen? Let's hang out. So anyway, those are my thoughts right now. I'm kind of like, church, please don't put people in high up positions if you just don't do backgrounds on them and know what they're doing. And maybe you did know this guy was, the way he is, and you just let him in charge of new members. And now I'm just like sitting here like, I don't trust you. I don't trust your church. I don't trust your process of eliminating people like this in leadership positions. So I'm going to follow this Mark Lamb case. I think it's interesting. I guess he's upset because he's saying it's slander, but it's an LDS thing, and my book is going to be about that, right? So I'm like, oh, this is intriguing because I'm about to, push the button on that LDS book, which they ain't gonna like, and I don't care. So anyway, this is Minny at Midnight, and until next time, guys, book is coming. See you soon. So you know what? I freaking love Jeff Mallory. I freaking love that man. I swear I did. I really did. I was thinking about that. Yeah, because I'm getting hit on, or I'm getting the flirty wink, legitimately, I kid you not. Okay, so listen to this. Okay, so y'all know, right? I have this RV. It is beautiful, right? It's 37 feet. It's big. I love it. I'm right here, just me, Finn. All right, so, and Chloe. So it's so cool. It's got space, right? And it's comfy. But I'm in this RV park with a lot of these, older men who are single and obviously retired and I don't know, looking around. And so I keep getting all these flirty winks and good morning and oh, hello. And I'm like, this just reminds me, of what am I interested in right now? As far as dating and, am I interested in the much older man still? Because I have always loved older men. It's just been my thing. And Jeff was my age. And so for the first time, I was with someone who was my age, right? And I'm like, you're my age. This is awesome. We were on the same page. We were like Gen X. And Dominic tried to pretend to be Gen X back to him. ex-boyfriend Mormon. I'm like, no, you're not. You're born in 1980. That is not the same. I was like, no, my brother was born in 1979. He's like on the border of that, and we are not the same either. No. So I do not adopt you 1979, 1980 people into the Gen X family. I'm sorry. Google that shit. No. You're on the border, and you're basically a millennial, Dominic. You're a millennial. I swear. Your habits, all that crap. But so meanwhile, I'm walking around the RV park, right? And I'm like, oh, my MG. There is so much interest in me. I have like an interesting look. It just, So I was thinking, the other day, because my last post was about that Mark Lamb scandal. What the heck, hello? Me and words. Mark Lamb scandal about the LDS, and my book that's coming out about, my whole LDS, scandal that's going to erupt. People going to be upset. Whatever. And so I was like, hey, I can rip up pictures of Dominic Siciliano all day long, man. I'll look at him like, yeah, it was nice. Rip. He sucks. I was coming across some wedding photos, right? And of Jeff, and I was like, I cannot rip him up. I swear to God, I can't rip up any photo with that man in it. I swear, because I loved him. So it's like interesting. I'm like, what, Minnie? What the hell? Rip him up. Rip up the damn photo. I'm like, damn it. So you don't have to do that, I guess. I guess you can keep the memories of a time you had in life. This is, a thing. Not rip it up. But back to dating, my friend Ronetta was always like, why don't you like black men? Right? She was like, this is an insult. And I'm like, what? And my mom too, she's like, why are you marrying a white man? Because my first husband was white. All the men I've been with were white. Except for one. I love that boy. We met when we were 12. There was one. Okay. And so I was like, Ronetta, it's not that I'm not attracted to black men. It's not that at all. I honestly think it's linked to my, childhood trauma. Because my mom's boyfriend, and my dad, and a lot of things that happened to me. I had an attempted gang rape of me by 4 boys, when I was walking home from school, and they pulled up my skirt and they put me up against a wall and had to go to a police sketch artist and draw pictures of their faces so they could track the boys down. And it was traumatizing. And their words to me, I'm 16, and they're like, we're sorry this happened to you, but 4 black boys in the inner city ghetto, we're not going to be able to find them, and how many people have experienced that, where you're sitting in the room and they're like, can you draw, what's the nose look like? What was the face look like? What were the eyes looking like? It's like, I'm like having a PTSD trigger right now. I was just attempted rape by 4 freaking boys. I got to go down the police car and draw pictures through a sketch artist of their faces. So it's hard for me to explain to Ronetta that black men, I'm not saying they're not attractive or anything. I'm saying that it might be linked to my past trauma. And I just gravitated to white men. And then I had all this backlash in my community and my family. And like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you, like black men? Why are you trying to be white? And that became a whole thing where I just, got like excluded from my own family. And it's just a thing. But yeah. So back to the older guys in the park here. I think it's funny, but I'm totally interested in older men. I love that. I find that they're mature, wiser, and I don't know, kind of maybe get me a little more. So we'll see. Anyway, these are my thoughts today. I'm gonna go see fireworks tomorrow. I think I got plans now. First, I didn't have plans. Now I do. Oh my MNG. All right, I'll let you know what happens, but. Anyway, this is Minny at Noon. Until next time, guys. See you soon. So you know what? I'm just kind of like sitting here kind of depressed. And I don't know what is wrong with me. But do you ever like kind of like go like a review of your life? And you're like, okay, this is the way it was supposed to be. Okay. This is the way I wanted it to be. Wait, it's not going the way it's supposed to be or should be. And then you're like, oh, what do I do now? All right, so that's kind of where I am right now. It's kind of like, okay, I'm divorced. I have, you know, 4 basically adult children because Dylan thinks he's an adult. He's 15. And my youngest is 11, but he's going on like 15. So I'm like, okay, not kind of like coddling little kitties anymore or kiddos anymore. What do I do with myself? I'm not married, so I don't have a husband to take care of and pamper and do the things I used to do, with Jeff Mallory. That guy was spoiled. I kid you not, that man was spoiled. I get up at 3 a.m. and make him lunches for him to get up at 5 in the morning to go to work. Oh, MNG. And his lunches were beautiful. Oh, MNG. Oh, my MNG. Anyway, yeah, so I don't have a husband to spoil. Or a boyfriend. I'm single. So I'm like, what the heck do I do with myself? So I've been spoiling my cat, Chloe. I went to Walmart today with a bunch of stuff, and the clerk was like, well, you have a really spoiled kitty. I'm like, yeah, this is me, a lady with a cat. So that's kind of why I came home, and I was like, I'm going to go through all my sexy clothes and get my sexy back and see what the heck, I can fit. And I was like, surprised as heck. I was like, what the heck? Oh, you're walking, girl? I have been walking, like, every day. Like, I don't know, 2 miles or more or something. And I'm like, what the heck? That has paid off. It's only been like a month or so. But I was like, oh, wow. I am, like, so toned. So I came home, tried on a bunch of my sexy clothes. Felt great. But then at the end of it, I was still like, okay, now, what are you going to do with yourself? You're all dressed up and pretty. You got nowhere to go, Minny. Oh, no. All right. Oh, no. I need some friends. So I'm thinking to get myself out of this stinker I'm in, I'm going to go make some friends tomorrow. I mean, today, because it's midnight. Okay, so today. All right, so I'm going to go make some new friends today. I am thinking also about getting a new tattoo today. So, crap, how many do I have? All right, my first tattoo is a cat's face. Just the eyes, a little nose, and a mouth, right? That was when I was 18, right? And then I went right back, like, the next month and got a Black Panther. That hurt like crap because of all of the shading. Do you know that the shading, that hurts like the worst? Then I married my second husband. I got his name tattooed on my lower back, LON. I was like, that's okay. It's just 3 letters and a little heart. I was like, I can always get it removed if it doesn't work out. So before we were married even. And then I got my piano string. Oh, I love that. My piano chords. Oh. And then I have a matching tattoo that I got with my daughter Sky of the moon and the stars, which is what I'm going to add to, by the way. That's going to be my new tattoo. Then I have one on my back, upper shoulder, which is a Celtic knot, which is I got when I was pregnant with Finn. So they all have like a meaning. Oh yeah, I have a butterfly on my lower back with Jeff's name on it, but it's only a couple letters, but it's a huge butterfly. It's so beautiful. Oh, I love it. Anyway, so the new tattoo is going to kind of be like an accentuation of the one that I already have of the moon and stars. But I'm thinking of doing something. I don't like the way the stars look right now. So I'm going to have them touch up the stars around the moon. And then I'm going to post it on my Minny at Midnight website for y'all to see. Won't that be cute? Anyway, it'll cheer me up. I mean, it's a depressing time right now for me. I need something to do. Minny gotta be Minny. So that's kind of usually what I do. I'll take you with me. But until next time, guys, see you soon. June 3rd, 2026. Morning. I love this song by Tegan and Sarah. Where Does the Good Go? Christina Yang and Meredith Grey dance it out in Christina's final farewell episode. When I met my friend Mary, a pastor and a really cool friend, I thought that she was that person. that friend, that one girlfriend that would dance it out with me just like Meredith Grey and Christina Yang did in Grey's Anatomy during the rough times in their lives. But alas, once again, I was wrong. She too, and just like every other person who promises to be there for me, left me too. So then I am left with my own ballot. Where does the grief go? Betrayal. You said you wouldn't. You promised you wouldn't. I trusted you wouldn't, but you did. I am struggling with the fact that I chose poorly in life. I chose friends that made promises to me, friends that said they would always be there for me, and I never asked them for one single thing except keep that promise. I don't ask for money. I don't even ask for much time. I just ask for attention. Well, I guess my life, given the circumstances, that could mean much. But I make up for it, just saying. Mourning. My old friend. That love-hate relationship I can't seem to shake. I fucking hate mourning. But I kind of think I'm screwed because, well, I was locked up twice in a mental ward over the last few months. And, well, shit keeps happening to me. And then I keep diving into, well, unprocessed mourning. It is just something I'm going to have to face. It dawned on me the other day when someone asked me how many children I have. I hadn't been asked that question in quite some time. I always say 6. Always. I always say 6. But now I'm supposed to say 5? Oh no. I had a little inner panic attack. I can't leave him out. But he's deceased. Am I supposed to say 5? Or can I say 6? Or, oh no, I literally cried for an hour after that today. I honestly have no idea what is wrong with me. Except that maybe, just maybe, I am always going to have this empty hole in my heart. For Andrew. Andrew felt that I had betrayed him. I had no idea what he was talking about when he confronted me on the Dr. Phil show. I'd only heard those words out of his mouth for the first time on national television. I did know about the abuse, but I did not know the true extent of the abuse when I wasn't around and the things that happened to him when his stepfather was alone with him. For Andrew, not protecting him was betrayal. Just how I felt when my mom continued her relationship with her boyfriend who had molested me. I had now done the exact same thing to my son. This was heart-wrenching for me to face, but I did it before he passed away, and I'm grateful that I got to tell him that I loved him unconditionally, despite those Dr. Phil episodes. What I learned as a mother is that you have to remove your view of everything first of all. You have to completely remove your perspective and listen and sit and listen and sit and then do it some more. I did that. I had to remove my pain, my experience, my fear of being a bad mother in order to understand and empathize with my child's experience. And when I did that, the pain was tremendous. Yes, it will be tremendous to realize that you may have unintentionally betrayed your child. That's just the truth. And that is perhaps how they may feel. And that's okay, because that is where the healing begins. So you know what? My ex-husband, he was going to die. You know, I was going to kill him. I'm just saying. True story, right? I mean, legitimately, we were in a custody battle with my daughter, Sky. I call her Sky Pie. And she was 3, right? 3.5. And I met my husband. Well, I was a boyfriend at the time, right? And he became a husband of my 4 children. And I had 2 children before I met him, with husband number 1. And so, you know, when husband number 2 came to town before we got married, husband number 1 went crazy. I mean, legit, lost his shit. And like took my car because both our names were on it, right? And he was like, "This is my car." I'm like, "No, that's half my car." I come out like from my apartment one day and the car is gone. I mean, it's gone. Okay, so I'm like, where's my car? Like, dude, where's my car? That's a movie. I love that movie. Anyway, so I was completely sane at this time, right? But when that happened and he took my 3-year-old and we had this whole custody battle going on, I was like, I'm gonna murder him, Lon, and I had a plan. I actually had a freaking plan. And then it got to such a bad point in my life where this custody battle went on for years. I mean, I didn't sue the judge. I got him kicked off the bench. Then they, put leg shackles on me. What the hell? Who puts leg shackles on you, right? For contempt of court. Kid you not. That was for punishment because I was going after the judges. They deserved it. Then his judge friend came on board. She freaking didn't like me. And yeah, then I ended up suing the public defender's office in Maryland. Okay, that's another story. Okay, so meanwhile, they were wrong. I was right. I went to jail for one night. Oh, that was not good. Not a night, actually. That would have been horrible if I had stayed there the whole night. It was bad enough. They did a body cavity search. Do you know that? I had to undergo a body cavity search. All right, I'm digressing. This was about me murdering my ex. Okay, look, that was a plan, all right? I legit was he is in the sights of my car right here. I'm going to run him over with my car. I was looking on the internet for concoctions, putting his drink and invite him out for a drink and shit. It was that freaking bad. Literally had to move to Mexico not to kill this man. Okay, so I'm trying not to be that person again, but honestly, I'm still that girl. But Sky is coming out to visit me. That's the point of this podcast because it's positive. Awesome. So Sky's my daughter and she lives in Maryland and still there. And so we got together a bunch. If you go to my YouTube channel and look at the funny mommy and daughter things we did, we go to the mall and she's on a lot of the Minnie's World episodes. So she's going to come out and I'm going to film a whole Minnie's World episode with Sky and all of the kids because we haven't all been together because we've been East Coast, West Coast split up and now, she's going to come out. So we are thinking about something fun this fall and, I am so excited because mother and daughter relationships, that's a thing. That was the point of this whole podcast. And somehow I got into, I was going to murder that man. He lucky he alive. I'm just saying. All right, so he's lucky line was like, let's go to Mexico. I was like, yeah, good for him. All right, get me out of the country, man. And then I had to do video calls with Skylar. That was interesting, doing video calls back in the day in 2000 and, it was what? So it was 2006. So I was like, I will find a way to communicate with my daughter on video, right? In 2006, I did. It was called OJO. And we did videos. I was in Mexico. I was like, I will not lose contact with her. And I will still fight that mofo when I get back to the States. I'm not sure. I think I did. I had to give it up, I think. But so anyway, mother-daughter relationships, I've always wanted that with my mom. I wanted to have go on vacations and hang out and I don't know, something other than just calling her when she was at work because that's the only time she was sober. That's why I was mad when those fuckers fired her. It's that woman was sober at work. I know, because that's the only time I could talk to the woman without her being, drunk. So I'm looking forward to, I'm so happy now. I was depressed earlier and I'm so happy when Sky was like, I'm coming out. And finally, really, because we all called her mommy number 2. So if something ever happened to me, she's mommy number 2 to take care of the kids. Because she was always into Easter and Halloween and all those things. I was like, girl, you do that because I don't celebrate that crap. All right? I don't care about finding the Easter eggs anywhere. And you go plant those, Easter eggs, girl. So she loved that stuff. I might dye some eggs because my mom used to dye. We used to dye those eggs together for Easter. I'd do that. But anyway, I'm happy. So we're planning that with Izzy. So the sisters are going to get together. Oh, this is going to be Izzy and Sky. And I'll have some girl time. Oh, I'm so excited. If you're a mom and you have daughters or you're a daughter and you have a mom and you know how awesome the crap this is. Finally, I'm going to get them all together. Oh, yay. So that's Minnie at 3. I have a roast I have a corned beef roast, right? It's a roast, but the way I make it, right, you can just slice it up and still have it on corned beef sandwiches because I don't put anything fancy-pantsy in with it. but it just falls off. It just, I love it. So I put it in with potatoes and stuff, and sometimes I'll have green beans, but I can have it as a roast, or I can just take it out and slice it up and still eat it like corned beef. It's beautiful. So that's a good one today. And then I think I'm going to watch a movie. I don't know. I'll see fireworks later. Apparently my neighbors are having some kind of a get-together. I go spy on them and see what they're doing. Anyway, this is Minny at 3. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. And until next time, see you soon. So you know what? I had the unfortunate, great Minnie's luck, we call it in Minnie's world. It's just Minnie's luck, right? Of being with two different sadists. Okay, Jeff Mallory was an admitted sadist, right? When we got, together, I gotta give it to him, He pulled that, scam off great. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a scam. It's just kind of like honesty, raw nature. He's like, here, I have a problem, right? I need to, have a variety, he called it. I need to, have my, thingy and different women, different whatevers. And I like to, rough them up here and there. I really get off on that shit. I'm like, I was talking to my dad in prison about this shit. I was like, Daddy, I'm with a sexual sadist who actually likes to hurt women when he has sex with them. This could end badly. Yeah, should I marry this guy? Minnie gotta be Minnie. What's the worst that could be? What's the worst that could happen? I end up, dead. Yeah, that kind of almost happened. All right, so meanwhile, I have angels here. They hang out all the time and save me from shit like that. I mean, I don't know. So eventually, his luck's going to run out. I'm going to die for good one day. I don't know when, right? But so meanwhile, the sadist, right? So, yeah, I got to talk about that later. Oh my gosh, the sex clubs, all the interesting shit that happened with Jeff Mallory. Oh my God, the Handyman Chronicles are coming. All right, so meanwhile. So Dominic, right? Ex-boyfriend, Mormon. Yeah, because I'm writing his book. I mean, I'm not writing. It's already written, actually. I'm going to edit it some more, and I'm going to publish. So meanwhile, Dominic, right? I was thinking about, he's a sadist, too. Just a different type of sadist. Not on the same league as Jeffrey Mallory. But, so meanwhile, I was like, okay, well, what, am I looking for? I got to avoid the sadist, right? That is, the worst. But, there are some characteristics, of Jeffrey Mallory that I just freaking love. So when I'm looking for a guy, I'm going into the dating world, and I'm comparing Dominic with Jeffrey, I'm just like, there is such a huge difference as to why Dominic was like, I was comparing. I'm like, shit. And that's what happens, right? So you're in this relationship or marriage. Of course, you're going to compare the next guy. You're going to be like, well, this wasn't a win. No. And so Dominic would try to be like, oh, slap my ass, which I do actually love, but only when it's really done the right fucking way. And so he'd slap my ass, I'm like, no, it's not working. No. And he's just like, I'm sorry, but listen, there is a way to dominate in the bedroom. I love that shit. I love a man that's gonna dominate and take charge and just be like, fuck the shit out of me, right? I'm like, just do that shit. Fuck the shit out of me. But then some days I'm just like, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you. Really. I'm sorry, but yeah, this is just unscripted. This is what's on my mind today, right? I'm sorry. Just go with it. Alright, so I'm just yeah. So there's a presence you bring into the bedroom. Mine is well, it depends on the goddamn on day. I love to role play. I love to dress up. I love to wear my wigs and shit. I love to be today I might be blind. I don't freaking know. To next week I might wear a, cheerleading outfit. I love that shit. I'm like, wait, I might be a cheerleader today. Look, I can still pull that shit off in the bedroom too. Alright, so I don't know. Today I might be in the kitchen. Want to go outside? That's just me. I'm like, hey, there's a deck right here. You want to, So, I'm just playful like that, right? And so, when I was, with Dominic, I was like, this is boring as fuck. I went and I got, a candy necklace. Oh, if you remember, from my generation, they had, those, all right, think and remember this, Valentine's Day, right? Those little circle things, candy necklaces, and you eat the candy off, and there's no necklace, or it's a little candy bracelet, and you eat the candy. I was like, okay, bracelet gone. So I got a wig and everything. I had chocolate paint or colored paint put all over my body and everything. And Dominic was like, I'm like, what? What the fuck? I'm like, he is a fucking sadist. First of all, the whole relationship was a scam to swindle me out of money. Go to Hawaii. I spent $40,000. He had like prepared meals from a chef. He went to Ruth Chris Steakhouse for $600 meals. He had a private hula fucking dancer. Hello, for his 45th birthday, right? And we're in Hawaii for 14 days. I paid for his plane ticket. Hello, right? I'm like, I did all of this. All of that, goodness of my heart. And so I'm like, yeah, let's go. It'll be fine. But at the end of the day, he's just like, yeah, you fucking sadist. You just did this to scam me out of money and then come back and get $2,000 from me. Whatever. So, meanwhile, next relationship, I am trying to avoid the sadist. Okay? I'm going to avoid that. All right? No more sadists. No. I can pick you out. I picked him out too. I was just like, well, he does claim to be a Mormon, missionary ward leader. Maybe he is redeemable. So that's what I thought. I thought the same thing about Jeff Mallory, right? I was like, therapy? How about therapy, baby? How about, I tried the sex clubs with you. That was, the sex clubs, you know what was fun about the freaking sex clubs? Wait, I'm going to go into that as another podcast later, but guess what was so much freaking fun? I discovered I'm really good on that stripper pole. Kid you not. Kid you frick not. All right, we went into, I think it's called Taboo, Tabu, right? It's a sex club in Baltimore, Maryland, right? They have stripper poles on the disco floor. No, Minnie, no, you're not going back there. God damn it. Okay, there, I can get my own stripper pole installed in my house if I want one. God dang it. No, I'm not going back to the sex club. God dang it. Oh my gosh, they had orgies going on. I watched one. And then Jeff got mad because I kept wandering off going, what is happening around here? He wanted to just get laid. And I'm like, Jeff, look at that. And he's like, no, I want to get laid. I'm like, oh my God, okay. Anyway, yeah, those sex clubs. One of the sex clubs, I got to be a judge, judging the sexiest, the sexiest girl there. And they were doing on stripper poles too. And I was a judge. It was so fun. Oh my God, I digress. Okay, you guys. Just, if you want to go to sex clubs, it's fun. They have these rules though. Like if you're a single man, you couldn't go by yourself. You had to be accompanied by either a couple or, someone who sponsored you, But the things you see at the sex clubs, OMG, right? And then, guess what, guys? We met a couple. Yeah, Jeff Mallory and I met a couple. Want to hear about that? Anyway, this is Minny at 5 for my East Coast peeps. And tell Jeff Mallory hi from me. And until next time, guys, see you soon. Oh my gosh. I'm going totally off script. I'm sorry. You know what? I did have some wine today. Whatever. I don't care. They're not going to like what I'm about to say. I'm going to say it anyway. So, Frank v. ODHS. Yeah, it's confidential. So you're not going to find it on Google because the case is hidden. I can put it up there if I want. But listen, state of Oregon, right? You guys suck. Okay? This case is still ongoing. No, it's not getting dismissed. I'm so sorry for you. This is your third try? No, it's going forward. So here's the thing. The state of Oregon, right, in their motion to dismiss my poor baby and my children, 3, 6, and 7, and my daughter who was raped by foster dad. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's out there. It's the truth. I've been saying about it, on my YouTube channel. So listen to this, right? The state of Oregon in there, after my, son, and he's been, filing all these motions and all of this evidence that clearly states he was physically abused, sexual abuse was happening in that home. It was a home of 10 children, overrun, not overwatched by the freaking foster parents properly, because foster mom was abused by foster dad, who was a rapist and raping the children in the foster home. He was indicted on 16 counts of child molestation and sodomy. Okay? He served 2 years in jail, and then the state let him off and said, oh, insufficient evidence. That's because You want to like put poor children on the stand and have them testify that foster dad raped them? Who does that? My daughter doesn't even want to testify that shit. No. So bad stuff happened to my children in that home. Horrible. Okay? Horrible. And so that is why my son Noah is suing them. Right? They have dragged this out for 2 years. I'm pissed, and this is why they're on blast. So their latest motion was like, foster dad was like, I wasn't there. I didn't do it. Oh, he was there for 2 years. How the hell can the state of Oregon let a foster parent, who's representing himself, by the way, because the state of Oregon has wiped their hands, washed their hands of him, right? Because they filed a restraining order against him to keep him away from my daughter and the home, right? He's that bad. I mean, 16 counts of rape and sodomy of children. Come on. So the state's like, he's like, well, I wasn't there. Yeah, you were. So he's lying in court. Pisses me off, right? We have a hearing coming up. And then the state's like, well, I know that, you allegedly file these reports from DHS agents, but how is that illegal that your son reported incidents of abuse? I'm so sorry. You guys are state agents. My son reported he was being abused, thrown, physically assaulted by foster dad multiple times. There's police records, like I think 17 of them. It's like, come on, really? My son's suing you for accountability. They don't like it. And so I'm pissed. So it's okay. It's all right. It's still going. Just so you know, Frank v. ODHS, that case has not been dismissed. It is still going. It's just confidential. So you Google it, you'll find when we did sue Tina Kotek. Yep. But you know what? She is, I think, making strides to make things better in the agency, actually. Now that I'm looking into Tina Kotek, I think she actually is, working on shit in Oregon. So, I don't have a beef with her. But I do have a beef with these attorneys. They are unethical. Just putting it on the record. My son's attorney, Heather Saffell, Saffell, in Eugene, Oregon, has dodged service. I had to track her down and serve her, and there was a barking little dog in there. That's why there's that video of I'm going to sue you and your little dog too. It was funny. But legit, she was an attorney. What kind of attorney dodges service of a lawsuit that a child that you represented, for 3 years, you dumped him, you let him go to the Safe Center, right? Safe Center is a place where they dump, dysfunctional kids they assume are dysfunctional because they don't help treat them. Allegedly, that's my opinion. Safe Center denies these claims, but my son's suing the Safe Center. In Springfield, Oregon. And those guys are like, well, hey, statute of limitations by 7 months, even though they knew about this lawsuit, like when we sued Tina Kotek, like years ago. You're on placed on notice. Jasper Mountain Safe Center even entered their appearance on, hiding. But I saw him enter their appearance and then rescind it. And then the case was sent to state court. So you know what, Safe Center and Heather Saffell, I'm coming for you. And I'm going to help my son prosecute you too. So that's my message to you, random off script here. I'm ticked off mom, and I see your emotions and I see your bullshit, because it's bullshit, and this message is just for you. But until next time, haters, and you guys, I'll do something positive later, but right now I'm just pissed. See you soon. So you know what? Today I'm kind of in, a creative mode. So, the funny thing about me being on the Dr. Phil show, it's kind of not funny, because that mofo, he put my Twitter account on the Dr. Phil show, and my Facebook, and so, after I got off the show, I, got blown up to crap, right? With, 100,000 plus people, haters and shit, going, I saw you on the Dr. Phil show, you suck, I read your, blah, 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 because he posted, parts of my journal, on there, because that's kind of how I got on there. So I'm going through it, because I'm going through my memoir, and I'm going, what bits and pieces do I want to put in there? What's in there? I don't know. So I was reading this one entry that I do like. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do today. So that's my thoughts today at noon. I'm reading my, reading and writing my things and thinking, what the fuck, Dr. Phil? All right, meanwhile, so this is November 15, 2012. Fragile. Child Protective Services visited my home today. I almost cursed him out and told him to just keep my kid. Seriously, I asked him about foster homes in my area. I had my chance, and I didn't do a good job raising him. Right now, that is the meltdown talking. I was amazed that I didn't kick him out today. Probably because fear reminded me that I do have 3 other children that they could snatch if I behave badly. So I invited reason to sit with him, and I gave panic a day off. I immersed myself into responsibility, and I succumbed to judgment. Judgment. A jury of no peers of mine. Don't judge me. What is that saying about walking a mile in someone's moccasins? No saying has ever resonated as much with me as that one. I'm a bad mother. I am a bad mother. I don't mind judging myself. I just don't need to hear it from anyone else. When I'm wrong, I beat myself up until I'm a bloody mess. There is no wrath like the wrath of Minny, and when it's turned inward, all hell breaks loose upon her. I can't eat, and I can't sleep, and if I think that I deserve better, I remind myself that I do not. A jury of my peers surrounds me, and they have voted to hang me until dead. Mercy, grudge, hate, anger, wrath, malice, responsibility, vengeance, and pity voted 8-1, and I accept this verdict. I am losing my child tomorrow to a mental hospital while he recuperates, and there is nothing worse than losing a child. I am walking around in a fog. I keep forgetting what day it is, and every time that I remember what brought me to this place, I feel myself about to crumble into a million pieces. I wish that I had the glue to keep the pieces together. I wish that I had not failed in motherhood, but most of all, I wish that for just 1 minute, I could live in a space where I did not judge myself more harshly than I deserve. November 16, 2012. Conviction. I woke up this morning and wanted an instant appeal, but then I remembered that I confessed. I threw myself upon the mercy of the court, and I confessed. I should have looked the jury members in the eye and pled guilty by reason of insanity. It is not mine. It is not that I am a bad mother, but I have done the best that I could under the circumstances. When I was a little girl, I thought that my mother did not love me. She would constantly push me away when I craved attention the most. She would call me horrible names that wrecked my self-esteem. And I could never understand why she didn't hug or kiss me, and why she rarely said the words, "I love you." When I came to rear children of my own, I finally understood my mother. It wasn't that she didn't love me. I just never grasped the depths of her disabilities. My oldest child suffers from several disabilities, but he has mastered the art of disguise. The one thing that I realized over the last several weeks is that, sadly, I do not know my own child. When I think about the years I spent seeking psychiatric help for him, and when I think about the years I spent being a bad example for him, I really cannot say that either contributed to his ultimate demise in mental health. Like, which one? I don't know. I come from a long line of crazies, and we all have our own disabilities to contend with. The blind leading the blind would not be so far off a depiction. When I found out that I was pregnant during my junior year in college, I rushed to the bookstore. I had no clue how to be a mother. I had no clue the responsibility that I was accepting. I didn't drink alcohol, and I didn't even take Tylenol. I married a man that I didn't love because I knew that the baby needed a stable environment. I got my driver's license at the age of 20 because I needed to get the baby to the doctor's appointments on my own. I read every book from cover to cover on what not to do and what not to eat. I breastfed my baby until exactly 1 year, and he was fully potty trained by the age of 2. I took him out of daycare and quit my job because I chose motherhood over a career. I made every decision in my life in consideration of my children. I did the best I could, given my own set of disabilities, those of which I did not grasp the depths of their gravity. So when I woke up this morning, I wanted to appeal my conviction for being a bad mother. I wanted to rescind every word of my confession. I wanted a new trial, and I declined my right to a jury because I am a good mother. I am a good mother. The funny thing about accepting responsibility is in knowing when to relinquish it. I want to mother my child right now. I want to cradle him in my arms and kiss away his pain. I want. But this isn't about me. And this is not about what I want anymore. Because being a good mother isn't just about being the one who saves your child. It is about being the one who lets go when your child needs it the most.